Put on the air. Okay, I'm going live.
Somebody wants to know if you straightened the blue knob on your door. Now we're in place.
Oh gosh. Now we're in place. The blue knobs on the door have been put on point. I don't know if that's how you like them or not. Whoops, there's a hanger ready to go. Welcome everybody. How are you today? Um, it's Wednesday, September 25th, 2024. Let's say that. Can you even believe how long we've been doing this? Oh my gosh. I mean, it's been amazing. And I don't think any of us anticipated it turning into what it has, okay? All righty, Roo. Today, well, let's go through some stuff, and then I've actually got two things I'm going to be showing you. I'm going to be showing you the Rosa Roja way that she does finished turned applique. But before we do that, I'm going to show you the spray starch method that I have used forever and ever. Amen. Which made the segue into Rosa's thing so easy, and honestly a little preferable. Hey, Barbara. Okie doke. So what do we have going here? Oh, I've never been to the Quilt Museum in LaGrange, Texas. And when I saw this, I was on their site or whatever it was. That's the outside of the building. And I can only guess it's all painted on. Barbara, would you like to chime in on that? I thought it was absolutely spectacular. And what took me down this rabbit hole was the whole thing of barn quilts. All right. So where has September gone? Sonia, I haven't a clue. So let's see what this is. Oh, Hillary sent me this, and I'm so embarrassed. I said, "Is that your husband?" And she said, "No, that's me." Oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. But what I want to show you is that the bottom two corners, one is a water tower, and one is grain thing. So she has customized it, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. It was in their local quilt show, of which they don't do ribbons or anything like that. But you know what, Hillary? You would have won a ribbon. I know these things. Okay, and then Barb sent me this, and I realized I had lost it the other day, and then I found it again. I'm sorry it's blurry, but the circles in here are Dale Fleming's 6-minute turned circles. Pieced, all right, pieced. And this will be one of the circle things that I'm going to be sharing you. And also, Barbel, I think that this is absolutely perfect. And if I've shown it before, forgive me. It bears to be shown 2 times. I love everything about it. Okay, and then remember on Monday we were talking about the temperature quilts, all right? And this is Pat's. I didn't know if it was Pat's or not. Okay, what is the temperature quilt? Well, she got back to me and said this was hers. I adore it. And it's basically, for a year, you do the high and the low of that day, and then you record it all. So she wrote back and said it was hers, but then she told me to go to Moda. So I went to Moda, and this is on their site. It's got how you can say get these fabrics or whatever, and then identify what these fabrics represent in degrees as far as I think this is Fahrenheit. All right. And so anyways, you might want to go to the Moda site and see this. But then the other thing that was really super wonderful, awesome, fabulous was that there were some other temperature quilts on Moda's site. So this one is Stephanie's. And I love half square triangles. I mean, I just adore half square triangles. And I think this is incredibly spectacular. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm not a betting, I would not bet on this. But I think that probably Stephanie did this based on good design, because if you notice, like, the four corners are the black and white. I don't think there's a sequential, I suppose that would be the word, way that they were put together. I think it was more like looking at design. And by the way, in my humble opinion, I think this is absolutely fabulous design. One of the things I appreciate is that with those dark corners, you've got some other black and dark, black and white. You have other black and whites smattered through this piece so that your eye keeps moving. And I'm not sure what the ones are with the three. Maybe that's just added design of black to make it balance better. I don't know, but this quilt just absolutely slayed me. And then this is Rebecca's, and this is out of grunge fabric. And I mean, basically, what are we looking at? A snowball or something like that? Maybe. No, because I'm looking at it like a detective right now. I don't think it's a snowball. But anyways, beautiful. And it looks like this quilt was laid out in order. These are just beautiful. And then Anki, I hope I'm saying her name right, or his name, I don't know, had another grunge one that was going on. And it's not finished yet, but they felt compelled to put this on the site because it was so spectacular, using the mode of grunge. All right. And then this is Pennies from the UK. Completely different sort of colors, completely different sort of colors. And my guess would be the circles would be one thing, and then the background would be the other thing. Anyways, I really, really appreciate, Pat, you sending that to us, because it just, I, I don't want to do it. No, thank you. But other people might very well want to do it. And I'm sorry if you're going to see this on your screen. I've got to go over here and my computer is making me crazy. It goes dark on me, and I hate it. And I don't know if you're seeing dark or whatever, but I want to get back so I can at least see me. And then I forget what this was, but this is Jessica's. Oh, here's another one. Another one. The big triangle. I never know what flying geese. I never know what's the goose or whatever, but let's just pretend that the big triangle is the goose. I believe that's the day, and then the wings on each side are the like the day warmest and then coldest. Wouldn't this be interesting to see something like this from somebody in Alaska? I'm reading a book right now, and it's The Great Alone, and it's about living kind of in the wilderness of Alaska. So that would be really interesting, really interesting. I'm not going to do it. Okay, so we've got a bunch of people here. This is great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show one way, and then I'll look at questions, and then I'll show the Rosa way, and then I'll look at questions. All right. So this is, and Monday, thank you everybody for correcting me, saying my stitches were too big. I was just desperately trying to get through it, and I'm going to be better this time. Now, the other thing I want to say is this first way I'm going to show you, I haven't done this in years, in years. But what you're going to start with is freezer paper. All right. You know, freezer paper, one side is dull and the other is shiny. There you go. And then you layer it so it basically becomes thick. You've got shiny and you've got shiny, and then you've got dull on one side and dull on the other side. And then you iron it together. And from this, you're going to cut your shape. Whoops. And why you're doing that, why it's doubled, is it gives you something to press against. And you might even want to do 3, but I could do it pretty successfully for 2. I say that, and now let's see what happens when we go down to the drawing board. Again, I cut these out with my Go once I layered and pressed them, as well as I did this. And so what I'm going to be using here are a couple things. First of all, I love my wand iron, this particular one, and I'm not even sure it exists anymore. It gets super, super hot. You could use your clover one. I don't think it's quite as good. I'm not sure how I would feel about using my Aliso. I'm just not sure. But I'm using what I've used forever and ever. Amen. And let me pull this up a little bit. Oh my gosh, it's finally cooled off today. It has become unbearable. This is my starch. I am choosing to use my acorn. All right. You could use Mary Ellen's Best Press. You could use cheapo starch, but I'm just really kind of hooked on this acorn. So I poured it into the bottle. There is liquid in there. And then what I'm going to do is the first thing I'm going to do, which is the shiny side. There's the shiny side. I am going, boy, I can smell this iron. Must have been a while since I've used it. I'm going to iron it down. Make sure you put the shiny side down so that it sticks, right? And it's not sticking, so let's do it a minute longer. And basically, this circle here is what you're going to be pressing up against. Then the next thing I do, I just grab this paintbrush. You could use a makeup wand. Heck, you could use a Q-tip. I think QS has some of those pins that you can fill with starch. I mean, there's a lot of things you can do. But what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going around the edge here and getting it starchy. I'm only going to do part of it. And then I'm going to put my glasses on. That's always good. Then I've got two hands. In one hand is going to be my stiletto. All right, because I don't want my fingers down there. And then the other hand is going to be my wand iron. All right, and what you do is I'm holding it down with my stiletto, and then I'm going to come here, and I'm going to work my way around. I'm doing something very, very subtle, and I'm going to do the same thing with Rosa's. I am not going all the way to the edge. I'm leaving the little ripple here that I'll take care of when I get it the way I want it. Right. Now, the good news with this is that while it's super accessible to use freezer paper, is that this will have to come out once you either hand applique it or machine applique it. Oh, by the way, on Monday, I think I'm going to be talking about machine applique and how not raw edge, finished edge, since that's what we've been dealing with. You want to avoid any tucks. All right. And you can see if my fingers were down there, I mean, that's just cruising for a bruising, right? Oh my gosh, where did that come from? Did you guys see about that cat that got left like in Yellowstone or something like that? And it made it like 1,000 miles home to its home? Okay. So now I'm going to turn it over. I mean, that is beautiful. So what I'm going to do, I actually probably would turn on another iron at this point. Let me try and do it with this. But I've just turned on my little Hobbit coat, or Liso. Okay. There we go. I don't like that right there. So it's simply a matter of this. You know, it's funny. I was going and fishing for my iron, and I found bags of circles that I've turned. I must have had cherries on the mind. Okay. Get this here. I don't think this is hot enough yet, but I mean, you can use either iron, really. I probably would leave the paper in, this freezer paper, until it was time. And then you just go like this and go back. It's not dry yet. Ooh, might have been stupid. Okay. There. Fabulous. Okay, so now why did I switch to Rosa's? I switched to Rosa's technique because John made me demo at Road to California for 4 days how to use her tools. I was not thrilled with him wanting me to do that, but oh, I've got this. Uh-oh, hold on. I got the wrong one. I got two of the same. Oh, there we go. One has a snake tongue. Oh, so anyways, I did this for like 3.5 days, 4 days, whatever, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Now, this is an older model because this one's thinner, but it will still work. But one has a cut-in, kind of a bevel. Can you see that? And then one end has the fork tongue, the snake tongue. And as you can see here, one is older and one is newer, but they'll still work, right? I think the newer ones are the heavier ones. In lieu of freezer paper, I'm going to use print and piece fuse light. And the beauty of print and piece fuse light is this is actually not a paper, but it's a fiber, and it will basically 80% wash out. So you don't have to deal with taking it out and hoping it's going to be okay, etc. So on print and piece fuse light, on one side there's shiny, and the other side it's flat. Now, I didn't do it, but I kind of wish I did. I will take my friction pen, and before I cut out my circles or whatever, I'll scribble on the back of it, like a wand, and then that way I know that's the dull side, so that I'm not sitting there having to look and say, oh, which is the dull side, which is the shiny side. So I think that's a trick to keep in mind for sure. So I'm going to put this down. All right. If you know how to do the wand method that I just showed you with the starch, making the transition into this is just like no big deal at all. All right. Your glue is very, very important. There are a lot of fabric glue sticks out there. I have to tell you that my Quilter Select is my favorite, and I will tell you why. Let me go back to me. This is a yellow glue, all right? And in the olden days, meaning 10 years ago, there was a brand called Charisma from Japan, and it was very hard to find in the United States. Very hard. And then all of a sudden it became impossible, yet we were able to access the formula. Okay. Now this has good news and bad news. The good news is it dries very, very, very quickly. Oh, wait. Oh, and the bad news is that it dries very, very, very quickly. So that means every time you use it, you have to go like this. And I realized my pants were on fire because I didn't look to see if there were questions. Of everything, the iron is called a hobbico, and it's like hen's teeth to find it right now. It's like, and what I like is that they have some hobbicos that kind of like go in, and I don't like that. I love this iron. I actually have a couple in case one does break. All right, you could use a little clover one. I love this iron, but you can find it if you search around. Okay, so the one I prefer, Hobbigo crafting iron, thank you. The one I prefer is what I'm showing you now, the Rosa Way. And I can't even tell you why, but I just do. So let's see. I actually hate doing these demos live. I actually hate it. So good news, it dries really fast. Bad news, it dries really fast. So it's a whole habit that you have to get into, okay? Then what you're going to do is, unlike the starch, oh, by the way, you get one with a refill, and then we also sell refills. And if you have another kind of glue wand like this, our yellow will fit into it. There seems to be a generic size that everybody uses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about this far. That's it. That's it. A little bit on the paper, close it, a little bit on the fabric. Then I'm going to hold it with my teeth. Let me see if I can get this down just a little bit more. Okay. And then taking the beveled edge one, I'm going to come in and go around. See how it sticks? Note that I'm not going to the outside raw edge of the circle. If I see a little bumpity bump, my glasses back on, fix it or forever hold your peace. Okay, so that's how much I did right there. Then I'm going to put on more glue. I guess, I love the Rosa way. It is, if you've never done the iron way, it's odd. It's very odd. But if you've done the iron way, it's not that much different. See how it's all ruffly here? Leave it that way for now. For now. That looks like that could be problematic. No big deal. Just get in there and finesse it. Again, this is for finished applique. Ooh, that's a pretty long stretch I'm doing right there. The thing with this is you can pre-cut all these babies, put something in your lap, and go and watch TV and do it. You don't have to deal with the iron. Some people love the ironing thing. Now, I do believe I'm doing it a little bit different than Rosa. And I know she's changed the glue that she uses, but I have found this to work just unbelievably. And the paper, the product is Print and Piece Fuse Light. Let's turn it over. I mean, that's pretty darn spectacular. Now I'll go in and iron it down, and I don't have to take it out. It can stay like this. Okay, there, I may not like that. That one right there. So I'm just going to go in and pull it a little. No biggie. Again, just push down around the edge. If you go all the way like this, you're going to have a mess. It's not going to be cool. Okay? So you need the tools. You need the glue stick. You need Print and Piece Fuse Light, and you're good to go. And again, I cannot tell you how much I love my Go Cutter for doing my circle, my baby Go. This works much better on a hard surface. Probably so, Sharon, probably so. But again, you can just sit in your lap and just do it. Yes, the rods are like an extension of your fingers. I mean, can you get in here and do this? Of course you can, but then you get into more complicated shapes and it's not going to work for you at all. So again, it took me 10 minutes to get used to holding these things, about 10 minutes. And then also when I stopped gripping and just extension of the fingers, Dawn said. It's a relaxing thing, yes. And also on the end of these are points, and I can use these points as stilettos too, right? So you kind of get 2 for 1, though they weren't designed for that. Okay, let me see what we've got going on here. Yeah, I think I like Rosa's the best. Ooh, Kathy, if you got that from an estate sale, good. The first time it gets really hot, you guys. I mean, it gets really hot. And the other thing I didn't mention about this, it comes with this crappy little stand that it's so easy to fall off of. So this was actually a silicone mat that was from a Bernina iron that I had maybe 25 years ago. But you can certainly buy silicone mats. You could use a tile trivet or something like that, so that when you put it down, There we go. You don't have to get all, okay, let me get it exactly on the metal thing. I just flop it down like that, and I know I'm going to be fine. All right? And I would say with any iron or anything, um, well, on this one, I would unplug it. Okay? I would just unplug it. But when I go on any vacation or I'm going to be gone for 24 hours, well, if I'm not going to be here, I unplug my irons. It's just do it, you know? All right. So, do we have any questions here? I don't think so. And oh, the Quilt Show said the lap app is great for working in your lap. So is the new 14 by 14 with one side the wool and then the other side a cutting mat. So you've got a soft surface and a hard surface. Those just came out with Quilters Select. I call it my flip mat. So it's like 2 for the price of 1. I'm finding that I am really using it a lot in my lap. And I think it has to do with where, or if I'm working against a table, I can position against it, you know? So, are Rosa Rojas tools and Applique the same product? Yes. Thank you, Miss J. It's the same thing. And we actually did a show with her too. I left mine on all night last night. Forgot to turn off the power strip. Okay. So on Monday, we're going to do how I set my Bernina for finished applique. Okay, machine finished applique. Very different from when I'm just doing a blanket stitch, but man, it works. It absolutely works. I hope you have a great weekend. Oh, geez, it finally has cooled down. I. This is what happens. Great Houdini. This is what happens. Okay, we had 100 degrees for 2 days, all right? And we're late September, right? And Halloween's around the corner. And so all the little kids, I want to be a ballerina. I want to be this. And the weather changes, snap, just like that. And you've got these little ballerinas running around with their parkas on. So, add a foam holder like you would with your pen or pencil to these. Yeah, if they're too skinny. I think the big ones are the newer ones. I'm actually kind of surprised at what I picked up and what I got, but it all works, right? Okay. Would this technique work with EPP, English paper piecing? Oh, yes, yes. It'll change your flipping life. Yes. So, okay, everybody, thank you for choosing to spend time with me today. I really appreciate everybody more than you know. And take care, be safe. I'll see you Monday. Have a good one. Bye bye.